Hi, I'm Amber.
Hi, I'm AJ, and welcome to Mountain Traditions Homestead. Hey everybody, welcome to our garden. First off, I'd like to thank anybody that knows I've had a little health scare, but I'm feeling better. And thanks for the prayers and comments and concerns and everything. Well, but we thought we'd give you a garden tour today. It's a beautiful evening, so it's a good day to do it. It's nice and cool, so I'll let Amber take over. Thank y'all.
Alright, we're going to start over here on the left, and you guys have seen this before, but it hasn't looked quite like this. Our zinnias have bloomed out beautifully, and these are just one of the little seed packets from the Dollar Tree. You can get seed packets at the Dollar Tree, 4 for $1. I don't know that I would get vegetables there, but after growing these zinnias and seeing how pretty they are, I definitely will get flowers there again. I think I got some morning glories and stuff too, but everybody kind of threatened my life if I planted morning glories, because that's every gardener's nemesis apparently, or some form of morning glory. AJ saying he's over there tying up some tomatoes. I actually already filmed this garden tour once without him when he was sick, and I decided to redo it because these plants were a mess. I might insert a picture here to show you if I can. Not sure if I have one of what a mess they were, but we got these tall stakes that he whittled down to a point for me, and we put those in. We got them from Lowe's. That's actually the only thing we could find this time of year to use for a stake. So anyway, we'll get on with the tour here. These are Cherokee purples. Like I said before, the reason these were such a mess, the deer got a hold of these, and then I was afraid to prune anything because I was afraid to prune off stuff that would, you know, produce fruit after they got ate on, because I couldn't tell what was ate, what wasn't. But as you can see, this little plant is hanging full of fruit. So there's a few more back there that you can't really see. This is also a Cherokee purple. You can see back there there's tomatoes everywhere. So we also found a hornworm again while we were tying these up, but we took care of him. He was already halfway taken care of. His back was full of what is it, baby? Wasps? Warrior wasps. They lay eggs on their back, so it looks pretty disgusting, but I say it, I was glad to see it to get rid of him. All these marigolds are spreading out and looking really beautiful. That just started with one little marigold, and of course when you rip a marigold off, I'll show you guys, when it's dried up, you will pinch the head and the seeds will come out. I'm trying to do this one-handed, it's not really working out for me. There we go. See the seeds come out there? Then you just sprinkle them on the ground and they'll spread. And one of the reasons marigolds are so good to plant in your garden is because people say they stink. I actually think they smell good. I love the smell. It's one of my daddy's favorite flowers, so maybe that's why I like the smell, but a lot of people don't. I like it. I also like smelling geraniums, and most people don't. So these are pepper plants. I have got a ton of banana peppers off of these plants already. There's some more on here now for me to get off. So I'll be picking those after I do this little tour for y'all. Got lots of jalapenos growing. This plant here, I'm actually gonna have to stake it up, is also full. You can see there, it's hanging full of jalapenos. These are Craig's Grande jalapeno peppers from Baker Creek. they will get a lot bigger than this. So it'll be a little while before I actually pick those. I've got some onions growing in the middle here, some garlic, also some grass I need to pick out. Our onions, most of them did really well, and we had some of them that just went straight to seed. They didn't grow. Not sure what the reason is for that. I've never tried to actually grow onions before this year, but I've heard a lot of people say that they had a bad onion year, so maybe that's partially it. I had a lilac bell pepper plant here. It was producing beautiful purple peppers, and something came through. Looks like it was stepped on to me and crushed it, of course. Looks like, can't tell if that's yep, this is also a lilac bell, so we'll have some more. You can see, looks like black probably on camera, but it's actually purple variegation in it, and they turn completely purple. All these are bell peppers. The lilacs are apparently the only ones actually producing some fruit right now, but these look big and healthy, so I anticipate getting a lot of peppers off of there. These are cucumber plants, and I have not actually got any cucumbers off of these, but I have on the opposite side of the trellis on this little guy. He's already a little over halfway up the trellis, and I've got, I think, 4 or 5 cucumbers off. Yep, AJ's got one we just got off today. There we go. And those are prickly. I've heard people comment on that. You can get some pickling cucumbers that are not prickly. That variety is, but we've ate them in salads here the past few days, and they taste really good. We just peel them before we chop them up. And here is our Kajari melons. AJ will help me show you guys. This plant's hanging full of them. These are the, I always forget, are they Indian, baby?
Yes,
okay,
Indian
they are from India, and they are comparable to a honeydew or a cantaloupe. And we have probably 6 of them in here just laying. And this one, a lot of people online I have seen commented on the difference in the color on the outside and the flesh of it. Some people say that they cut one melon open and it's like a honeydew and it's green, and then they'll cut another one off the same vine and it's actually orange inside. So, and actually the outside of them, when they get mature, they will be orange and green on the outside instead of cream. Another pepper plant here. And here are our black beauties. These are probably, we've got more questions about these than anything this year. And the way to tell if these are ripe is just by feeling them. Got to touch them, see if they're squishy.
That was pretty close.
Yeah, you can tell. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but you can tell he's pressing in, and it is slightly squishy there. That one does not. Is that what you said? Okay. So, and this is on camera. It probably looks like 2. That's actually 1 tomato. It's a little bit cat-faced. That's very common for heirloom tomatoes, and from what I've seen, particularly these black beauties. They're hanging full on the other side too. And we've got some St. Pierre's back behind the black beauties as well. AJ just picked a tomato off of it. Show you there. The St. Pierre's so far, the ones that have ripened have been very small, but there's some huge ones hanging on the vine, so they're just taking a little longer. These up here are black beauties too. I'll show you guys. They all look the same, but I could look at them all day. I think they're beautiful. Alrighty. Now here we have our Luffa Gourds. Since I've got AJ, I can back off and you guys can see. This is what they look like when they are supposedly edible. I will let AJ
No.
I will let AJ tell y'all about the edibleness of this plant when it is immature.
We, day before yesterday,
Yes.
picked one maybe a little smaller than this.
We didn't have a cucumber, so I thought, hey, people say you can eat these, we'll try it in a salad.
Okay. You can taste a slight cucumber taste from them, but imagine a cucumber that sat outside and rotted for a week.
I thought
Same consistency. It's squishy and
yeah,
it's
it's squishy, which they're Luffa Gourds. Yes. Most people do not eat them. They grow them to make loofahs out of, so that makes sense.
Maybe these are the kind you eat. I don't know, but I'm not trying anymore.
No, and I honestly wouldn't suggest it unless, you know, that was the last thing on earth left to eat. These are what they look like when they get mature and almost ready to harvest to make loofahs out of.
They're very
You can see how pliable they are. And I think we're going to just let those dry out to make loofahs out of. I'm sure we'll do a complete video on that one to see. But I've had a lot of questions. I know that Homestead Family is growing Luffa Gourds. We actually sent them some seeds. They expressed some interest, so we shared some seeds with them, and they asked me how we grew them, and I was telling them, you know, we had the cattle panel trellises and arched them, and we're using them that way. And this is what it looks like. These cattle panels, hog panels, whatever you call them, different things at different stores. You can get them for anywhere from 20 to 25 bucks, depending on where you live. Then you just anchor them in the ground with T-posts. See the T-posts there? And they are super strong. You can imagine if this is hanging full of fruit, it'll last for years. They're metal. They won't rust. Shouldn't rust. They're welded.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, some kind of welded
and
wire.
I would suggest, I mean, we've got the cheaper ones here, the cheaper T-posts, but the larger ones like behind her there, that's holding up the motor, I mean, not that tall, but the bigger, thicker ones, I recommend those because they don't flex as much.
Yeah, they're easier to get drove in the ground.
Yeah.
And we don't have one, but we would suggest the driver that you can buy for about 30 bucks. If you're going to be putting in a lot of T-posts, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, 25-pound sledgehammer's a little.
Yeah, that's a little much. So, all right, we'll go on through the archway here. And I love this. I had a chair sitting out here, and I just came and sat in the evening because I thought it was beautiful and just made me happy. Got pole beans here. We've already had several pickings of these. Need to pick some more. These do have the strings that you have to string, but they taste wonderful. They're very prolific. Like I said, I've got a ton off of this vine already. So I would still suggest them even though they do have strings. Our bush beans do not have strings.
And much like anything else you get out of the garden, you can just eat it raw.
Yep. Alright, what do we have left here? Bunch of Roma and Amish paste tomatoes back here. We've got a few I spotted from the other side that we need to pick that have turned red. You can't see them from here. Actually, you can just barely through there. See that little redness back there? Not sure how we're going to get to that to pick it, but we'll figure that out in a second. I've got lots of Romas here. I think I mentioned before the hornworms did a pretty good number on my Roma tomatoes, and a lot of those I had to throw to the chickens. There's an Amish paste. There's a few more of those. We're going to be using those to dice tomatoes, make pasta sauce, that kind of thing to can out of. As soon as we start getting up, we've been getting like a tomato every day or every other day. Not really enough to can with yet. So another one. Oh, I see.
All the way right.
And I've heard you guys leave a comment down below if you've done this. They say you can throw your tomatoes as you get them off the vine in the freezer, and that will do the same thing as if you blanch a tomato before you can to get the skins off. So I might try that, at least with one, throw it in there, get it out a few days later, let it fall, see what happens. That way I don't ruin a bunch of tomatoes if it does not work. Yeah, we'll do the corn while we're here. This is our yellow sweet corn on the left side here that's tasseling. It's already got a lot of silk on it.
It's usually, 7-8 foot tall. We had a cow get in and eat them down about that far, but luckily it was in a stage of the plant's life that it didn't kill it. They just come up short.
Yep, and they have, for whatever reason, matured a lot faster than the blue popcorn we've got on this side. All of it looks really good, but none of it has tasseled or started to silk yet. There's some on the end there that are a little taller. So I'm expecting those to go first, but they still haven't, so. But the corn's looking good. We got a lot of sweet corn from his sister who lives down in North Carolina. One of their neighbors gave them a big bunch while we were visiting one weekend, and she was nice enough to share it with us. So we've got a lot of corn in the freezer, and I'd like to can some too. So this is my sunflower, and that's going to be opening up pretty soon. It's got probably 5 or 6 heads forming on it. And this is a burgundy sunflower. This is variety I got from Walmart. I think it was just called Burgundy Sunflower, to be honest with you. We've got a couple beets here. They're ready to come up. You can see the head, the bottom there, how big it is. It's pulled the dirt away to kind of check, and this one I think is even bigger actually. But what we're going to do with these, since we only had 2 beets come up, these are the ones I planted like, I want to say middle of June, something like that. It was kind of late when I planted them for a beet. They're more of a cold weather crop. Only 2 of them made it because of the heat. And so what we're going to do is pickle those with the quail eggs that we have inside. I'll insert a little clip of what those look like. Oh yeah, AJ's got some tomatoes here. Amish paste. So we'll see. I may do some research when I go in tonight and see if you can actually put those in the freezer. That way, maybe this weekend. I've got a wedding that I'm photographing, but after that, maybe I can do some canning. But anyway, the beets. Since we only have 2 of those, we're going to pickle those with the quail eggs that we've got inside. Quail eggs are little bitty, like the size of a nickel, maybe.
Maybe.
We have button quail, so they're even a little smaller. So since they're not good for, like, you know, actually frying or anything, we thought we'd pickle them with the beets. Yes, baby?
We had 2 zucchini plants,
yes.
And we're not sure what happened to those.
I think it was vine borers. I've never had experience with vine borers, but right after we had a big storm, I looked out here and they were like laid over. I was like, man, the storm got it. And I came out here and it looked like the roots had literally been ripped up, and I was like, okay, we had a storm, but not that bad. So I investigated a little bit more and it looked like something had ate like the roots of it. So,
and our squash is coming
We've
along.
got squash coming finally. I planted my zucchini and my squash a little late, so everybody around us has been having squash for weeks now, and we're just now getting it. And I'm very upset about my zucchini, because that means no zucchini bread. Here is Mr. Stripey. It's finally starting to blush a little bit. It's probably not coming across on camera, but if you compare it to the one above it, it's just barely starting to turn yellow.
You can see what the hornworms did to it.
Yeah. Hornworms did some damage. This is the first year I've ever actually had hornworms. I've heard all about them, and this year we had to go to war with the hornworms. I think for the most part we won. These are our bush beans. We've got burgundy bush beans and blue lake bush beans. Some of these just kind of fizzled and didn't do much, and then the others, you can see, I got couple big messes, big enough to feed 3 and 4 people for dinner a couple times out of these, and they're due for another picking. So this is what the burgundy bush beans look like. That's a teensy tiny one, obviously. Get it to focus. There we go. That's a teensy tiny one. They turn a little more red than that when they get bigger. AJ can probably find you a bigger one here. Look on this plant right here, baby.
Biggest one I see.
Yeah, there we go.
And they actually turn green when you cook them.
When you cook them, they do turn green, but they're beautiful to pick and look at before you cook them. I actually wanted to make some dilly beans out of them, because that's pretty much just a pickled green bean or red bean, and that way it would hold its true color, because those don't have to be cooked or anything. But so far I've not had enough. I've wanted to cook them for dinner and things like that. So this is our watermelon patch. I told him standing in the house, this looks like a huge weed patch in our garden, but it's not. It's all watermelon. And we have several in here. There's a little one. I actually almost got that one with the mower the other day. And I've got a big one right here. Won't be too much longer. That one will be ready, because these are not personal size watermelons, but they don't get as big as some of the others. There's a little baby one right beside of it there. And there is several in here, but it's too hard for me to dig and find them to show you guys while I'm holding the camera. But there's at least 6 big ones that I know of in there. So, but that's pretty much the garden. We were fixing the tomato plants over there and gave some to Daisy May. Did you actually eat them, Daisy May? Come here. What you doing? Sticking your nose through? I don't have an animal cracker. I don't have an animal cracker. Hey, that's not an animal cracker either, Missy. She's really a good tempered goat. We're trying to get her bred so we can milk her. But she's really, really well tempered. She's actually registered. We got her at a really good deal at an auction at our local market. She's gonna try and eat AJ's shorts. But she's really, really well tempered. She's actually registered. We got her at a really good deal at an auction at our local market. She's gonna try and eat AJ's shorts. But she's really, really well tempered. She's actually registered. We got her at a really good deal at an auction at our local market. She's gonna try and eat AJ's shorts. But she's real funny. You can throw scraps into her sometimes and she'll eat them, and sometimes she'll just leave them laying, so you never know. But I guess that is pretty much our garden right now. We're probably going to be harvesting a lot tonight as far as beans, and I think I've got some banana peppers ready. And then hopefully in, I would say at least another week and a half, 2 weeks, we will be pouring in the tomatoes. We'll probably do some canning. Here's the finished product. Finally got it all hung up today. Probably post a picture on Instagram later, but wanted you guys to see it first. One last thing, and I've got to cook this man some dinner before he gets cranky. But these are our quail eggs I was telling you about that we want to pickle and put those in with the beets and just make some fridge pickled eggs and beets. So we're going to try that out. We'll probably make a video on that and see how it turns out, but I just wanted to show you guys how cute these are. They're so teensy tiny, like the size of my thumbnail. Alright, I finally got dinner going here. Just going to show you. Got some chicken in the skillet, cooking up with a little bit of seasoning. And this is what a homegrown salad looks like from your own garden. We cannot wait to dive into that. There's room with tomatoes, and I've got an Amish paste in there, which normally you wouldn't put that on a salad, but I don't have enough to do much else with right now, so we're just eating them on sandwiches. First we're going to put some bad for you stuff like cheese and dressing on there, but just wanted to show you guys our little salad we're going to have for dinner tonight.